There we go. All right. We're backing at it again. Okay, let me make sure that all of my other information that I put up here is correct. And it is. Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1. What's up? And on today's episode of the Blackout podcast, we talk about Negroplasty. Or is it a Tall-O-Plasty? I don't know. It's weird. It's going to get plastic surgery to make yourself a taller brother than you were before. So all this and more on today's episode of the Blackout podcast. Ski. All right. What up? Welcome back for a third time for the 218th time of the Blackout podcast. I'm Jared.
What's up, people? I'm Jay.
And we're back and
sipping on my coffee
again. Oh yeah, sipping on your coffee. Yeah. Jay, speaking of coffee, we were getting to something a little bit where the coffee came from earlier. Or I guess we'll get into where the coffee came from a little bit later. A topic that's related to that. But yeah, man, how you doing? How was your week?
Week was good. Didn't do much of anything. Stayed at home. Watched a lot of Netflix since I didn't have much work to do at work.
Yeah.
It's pretty good when you can stay at home and work from home and then just you don't have nothing and just put on Netflix and watch it.
Man, I'm telling you.
So yeah, man,
that's nice.
It's pretty chill week, man. Kids had a belt test. I think we talked a little bit about that before the show. So they moved up in their ranks a little bit.
Okay.
They both got chosen to be on their dojo's tournament team, the competition team, but we turned it down.
Oh man, it could be out there.
I wanted them to be out there, but of course they
weren't ready for it.
They don't want to put in the work for it. So it would be like extra classes, like Friday classes, Friday night training. And they already go like 4 days a week. So trying to make it a fifth day, they probably wouldn't like that, if they don't love it, then it's no use like wasting, the sensei's time and the school's time if they're not going to put in the work and not give 100% at the tournaments to, kind of put their school on the map. So, it's always time. They're still young. So it's whatever.
True.
Yeah. That's other than that, it's just another chill week, man.
Yeah. They could be like Daniel-san though. Go win the tournament.
No, not at all.
I'm trying to say. Make Mr. Miyagi proud. Sweep the leg. All that.
Have you heard about the theory that Daniel LaRusso was actually the villain in all these Karate Kids?
No, I didn't.
And it's very convincing.
Yeah,
there's a video online, and I wish I could find it or recite. Well, I could probably find, but I wish I could repeat everything verbatim to where I could condense it down to where you'll be convinced of it. But it's very convincing if anyone wants to go on YouTube and find it. But he's actually the villain in all of these because he's the one that actually started the mess with Johnny Lawrence in the first one, And if you look at
Johnny came after him.
No, if you got to remember,
man, Johnny girl.
Yeah, well, you got to remember, man. He should have just kept to himself and minded his business at that beach party. He didn't have to say anything. He didn't have to be pushy about it and say, why are you messing with the radio and throwing and all this other mess. But it's a long drawn out thing. But then if you even watch the Cobra Kai episodes, Daniel seems like the real jerk and the real villain in all this. So
that's interesting.
It's very interesting, man.
That's interesting. It's interesting to take all the heroes from every movie and try to make them the villain, or all the villains and try to make them the hero. It just depends on the lens, the perspective, that you're looking from, right?
True.
Yeah. I mean, if you were a villain, you would think the bad guy is the good guy, right? That's you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
You would
it's
think the other
true.
side's the good guy, like because you're just trying to live, man. You're just trying to live your baddest life,
Yeah, but j- hey man, like I say, that's a very convincing video, and I never liked Daniel LaRusso in the first place, so
Mm-hmm.
that's just me. My wife says I'm hating on him,
You
but
ain't like the crane.
that
You ain't
was
like his crane move.
negative.
Come on, man. That was the one, man. Like
That was the one move that everybody wanted to
that was
practice
my karate
outside.
move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
If
Everybody wanted to practice it.
if you had like a fence post at your house that you can get on top of, if you had like one of those like tree stumps, if you just had like a big rock or just a huge flat space where if you fell down you would get hurt. That's what you tried to do. You did it on your bed,
You did it on your bed.
and then
Yeah.
you had like a big old stuffed animal. You kicked the stuffed animal or your sister or brother, or they would kick you.
Yeah.
And that was the move, man. Mr. Miyagi. Everybody wanted a bonsai plant back then. It's all because of the bad side. Daniel's son, Mr. Miyagi, all the bad people instead of the good people.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man.
I mean,
I don't
I don't know. I think they bullied Daniel's son, and then they all ganged up on him and tried to beat him up.
Afterwards, though, they probably would have left him alone if he didn't, jump in.
Mess with him.
Yeah, even then, we got to remember at this what was it, the Halloween dance?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was messing with him, but Daniel LaRusso just had to put that water hose and drop all that water while he was trying to roll up his joint. Nobody was messing with Daniel. He probably would have been free and clear, but he had to drop the water hose, and everybody came. The whole crew came, Cobra Kai's came, and that's when Mr. Miyagi jumped in and helped him.
And
he could have been dancing along with what's her name with Allie,
yeah,
in the dance and not had any problems. But hey, he had to cause some trouble.
He had to cause some trouble.
Did he have to do that? No, absolutely not.
He ain't had to do nothing. He honestly didn't have to do anything.
Mm-mm.
But but he did. Instigator. You know what I'm trying to say?
There you go. Instigator.
Go in
so
and
villain.
Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, I'd love to see that theory. And any other theory where the good guy is actually the bad guy. Because I mean,
Hey, look at here's another one. Black Panther. They talk about that. It's a double-edged. Hey man, Killmonger had very good reason to do what he did. He had
Black
very
Panther,
good reason.
Rest
in peace, Chadwick Boseman. But this was there's been a conversation around this too. If Wakanda didn't, I guess they did not want to share their knowledge with the rest of the world to help people around the world, those poor people. It wasn't until the end of the movie that Wakanda kind of stepped in and started making community centers and all this other stuff around the world.
Yeah, yeah.
But it came on the heels of the things that Killmonger wanted to do.
So basically, Wakanda is a metaphor for ultra rich people that don't want to share their money and they're stingy, but they get put in a position publicly where they're basically like, hey, if you don't share your money with the poor or needy, you're stingy. And so they're like, all right, I guess I'll do it.
It's kind of like a NAACP type of thing. So an advancement for colored people. They didn't want to advance the colored people, the colored people. They didn't want to advance their community, their people around the world. They just wanted to keep it within Wakanda. And
the WACP.
Yeah.
The Wakanda
within
Association for Advancement of Colored Peoples, the WACP.
Something like that.
They got WACP.
Yeah. Anyway,
I don't know, man.
It could be talked about forever. This conversation could go on forever. I hope somebody's listening to respond back to that.
Yeah, let your sons be the villain.
Yeah, I think Killmonger was kind of sort of in the right. And then you got to think about it. Why? Okay, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but
go on it. Let's get to the tangent. What is it?
T'Chaka, which is T'Challa's dad, just completely. I know I'm sure he knew that his brother had a son. Why wouldn't you bring that? He knew. Yeah, why wouldn't you bring that son in to kind of nurture him and foster him up to be part of the family, part of the kingdom?
This is the reason why I believe, because he's American.
Oh,
the connotation, he's half American, right? So the connotation with Americans,
so he's not a pure
he's not pure blood, right? But the connotation with Americans is colonizers, right? We come, we take, we try to claim it as ours, even though it was not ours in the first place. Black or not, that's the connotation from other places to Americans, you know? And then like you got to think they're in Africa. They're like the real black people, or, you know, the real Africans. You know what I'm trying to say? Because they're not black people, they're African. So they're the real deal. They're the pure bloods. You're gonna tell me you're gonna pull somebody that's been, you know, his blood has been tainted over the course of history.
Oh, come on, man.
You know, with potentially other bloodlines from around the world, and then that thinking at some point in time is going to go into their mind and you know, come to life in a scenario in their country. So, you know, as a baby, as a kid, he probably would have been fine. But then at some point in time, he would have like been feeling himself, you know what I'm trying to say? And be like, nah, we're going to run this a different way because his America side going to come out. Mm-hmm. And then all things change, you know?
Yeah,
that's what would happen.
That's a good theory. Well,
you know, that's my thought, you know? And then also maybe it was an illegitimate child and he didn't want to like have the kingdom, you know, be seen as having an illegitimate, you know, not trying to say stepchild, but an illegitimate, you know, what do you call it? Challenger for the throne one day. Cause like say this, you know, half breed for lack of, you know, in the movie sense, this half breed came over, realized that he was, you know, maybe one or two steps away from being the king, you know, being actual Black Panther, found a way to kill young T'Challa as a baby, you know.
But either way it goes, he still threw T'Challa off a cliff.
Yeah, he sure did.
And still became king.
He sure did.
Even for a second, for a little minute.
Did.
So
he sure did. He got his shine. But see, that's that American colonizer in him. You know what I'm trying to say? Come in, like this mine now.
If he
would
have brought him in at 11 years old when his daddy got killed, however old he was, 10, 11, whatever, he would have grew up just fine. I think he probably grown up just fine, unless he would have found out that his daddy got killed by his daddy, his uncle. His dad got killed by his uncle. Yeah, that's right.
You know,
and then it would have been some problems.
It would have been some problems. Yeah. Eventually, it would have came to a head, and there would have been some problems. Probably, I don't know. But yeah, man, good theory. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like I said before, I just think that they didn't want the colonizers infiltrating them in any potential way, any possible way. But they were forced into action because of Killmonger, because of Thanos, because of all these other things.
But they brought in a colonizer and they treated a colonizer.
Yeah, there's that. There's that. You know, I was just hoping they had one of them things like they had back in Men in Black where they like flash your eyes and you forget everything you just saw. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's what I was hopeful for, but they didn't have one. So whatever. They were just too nice of people. So
I guess. Anyway, how was your week?
Oh man, my week was good, man. It was busy. Hopefully got some pretty good news on the business front, which we'll talk about at a later episode if that stuff comes to fruition. And then family wise, so Saturday was like a pretty busy day because my daughter had a dance competition where she had 2 performances. And then my son also had a basketball game. So it was just like a big day full of stuff, family stuff. So it's good. My daughter went out there, did her thing, served some people on the dance floor, got the silver medal.
It was a one-on-one competition?
No, it wasn't. Oh. It was a team dance. So but they were serving fools out there. Yeah.
You got served.
It's wild. It's wild watching them dance. And then the whole competition as a whole. I mean, these are kids anywhere between 5 and 17, depending on the age range, of the group and the I guess in the classification of the group, whatever, but they're all in competition. So this is it's serious stuff. So, right. People travel in town and all, into town and all this stuff for it. And yeah, man, they get up there and it's just like, just like the Bring It On, just like that movie and stuff like that. So it's pretty good, but yeah, they did a good job. And then later my son had a basketball game. So he is, do you know who Patrick Beverly is?
Patrick Beverly, why does that sound
familiar? The basketball player. He's sort of like an annoying person, but he can play a little bit of basketball and he could shoot, a little bit, but he always plays like really good defense and always gets under people's skin, almost like a Dennis Rodman type. But Patrick Beverly is more skilled shooting wise, but he just getting rebounds, like elbowing people, like, annoying people and making them, turn the ball over, stuff like that. So that's what my son does. He's that type of player, right? Gets up people's grills, guards real close, always try to make a steal, bumps people, Do
you think he talks a lot of mess like in other players' ears, like your son?
It's he does. He sucks. My son. Let me tell you something. So like the last game he was playing, and first of all, the referees that we have, they're like teenagers, right? They're like anywhere between 15 and 18, something like that. High school kids or whatever. So we had this one ref that was just he was just a terrible ref, right? It was bad. And he was sort of one of those power hungry refs, right? I don't know. He was like that. So my son had a couple fouls at that point. He was already sort of annoyed. And so the ref was I don't know, something happened. I don't know. He tried to make a steal and I think they called a foul on him or something silly. Oh, no. Okay. So I don't know why, but in this youth league, they won't let kids steal the ball. You can't steal it from somebody when they're dribbling or holding it until the fourth quarter. You can steal a pass. I'm trying to say you can fight for a rebound, all that stuff, but you can't steal the ball when they're dribbling or when they're, holding the ball till the fourth quarter. So that, and I think at that point that had not been called ever in a game. I think that was the third game. So that hadn't been called in a game before. So that my son got that called on him because he just straight ripped this kid. It was like Gary Payton the glove. You know what I'm trying to say? Actually, yeah, my son more like Gary Payton. We'll say it like that. So I was and so I had the interim coach because it was spring break. The coaches were out of town. They needed somebody's help. And so I was just standing in and they're like, we can't do that. That's a foul. Or we had the turnover. So I was like, what is it? And, and everybody was up in arms because all the kids were like, what are you talking about? Because they had never called that. And so the referee tried to explain it. And my son My son said something. He was like, that wasn't a foul. I just tried to steal the ball and he barely touched him. I got all ball. And the referee's like, okay, you just need to quiet down. My son's like, what you gonna do about it? He's like, I just need you to quiet down or else you're gonna get a technical foul. My son's like, call it then. Call the technical foul on me.
Oh, wow.
I was like, shut up, kid. I was like, because this is the other problem, though. This is the other problem. Out of our team, there's normally like 10 people, 10 kids. This is spring break. There's only 5 kids total. My son and 4 other kids. So I was like, if you get a double technical, guess what? You're gonna have to be out, and we're gonna have 4 kids. But in this league, when they call the first technical, the kid has to sit out for like 2 minutes of clock time. It's good to go to cool off. So I was like, man, just be quiet. And my son's like, well, call it then. I was like, dude calls the tech. And then my son turned around and started saying something. I went and pulled him. And I was like, go sit down. You know what I'm trying to say? Wow. And I went into his face. I was like, dude, sometimes you just got to shut up, Straight up. I just told him that. I was like, I know that it's frustrating. I think it's a stupid rule too. I brought my whole team over. I was like, I know it's frustrating. It's a stupid rule. They never told us that. They never called it before. Like, even though that's been happening the first couple games, I even told the refs, I was like, that's never been called before. They're like, well, you guys had different refs. I don't know why they didn't call it. And I was not happy about it, but I was like, you know what? Let's just adapt to it. Now we know that's the rule. So in the fourth quarter, we go ham on trying to steal the ball. Mm-hmm. So like, all right, cool. So my son, for the rest of the game, though, he was like just sort of tilted. You know what I'm trying to say? Like the rest of the game, wild. Anytime that ref came, and one time the ref, I think it was like by halftime, my son had the ball, and it was halftime. So he was like throwing, he was just throwing the ball to the ref, but I don't think the ref understood that he was throwing the ball to him. So, but he threw the ball. And it hit the ref like in the back.
That's funny.
Then my son sort of laughed because I think he did it halfway on purpose. You know what I'm trying to say? But so the ref like turned and glared at him, and I was like, "Man, come on, don't be stupid," you know. And then later on, there was a foul where my son clearly fouled this kid. It was like a body check or something like that. When he was trying to take a shot. I was like, it's a foul. So my son gets on the block, like the block next to the shooter at the foul line.
Right.
And he's like leaning over. This kid's trying to take a shot. He's leaning over with his hands, going like this. But like he's like, shoot it. He's like looking at the kid. Shoot it. You're gonna miss it. You're gonna miss it. I was like, this is the worst part about it all. So every game day, they have a different, sort of like sportsmanship, like initiative for that game. And you could get a medal, if you're the kid that was the best sportsman at whatever.
He didn't get
that day was literally sportsmanship. It was like being a good sport, to the kids on your team and others. And my son was not. So I was like, dude, this is the day where this is the focus, but he has a little bit of competitive spirit in him, which I love, but sometimes, you got to know how to direct that energy. You know what I'm trying to say? So he's a trash talker. Yesterday he fouled. Yesterday he was dribbling and he free armed somebody, and they called him for a free arm foul while he was dribbling. And I was like, that free arm was a foul. He's like, yeah, no, I don't really like that kid. So I meant to do it. I was like, wow. Come on, man.
He's like the Charles Barkley, Dennis Rodman.
I'm telling you, it's up in people's grill, talking smack, garden tight. You know what I'm trying to say? He got some footwork issues that he would need to work on. But overall, though, it's just funny. But made a couple points in the game. And,
That's good.
Got under people's skin. It's just what he does. If he could, I don't know. He really wants to play football, or he used to really want to play like tackle football. Mm-hmm. Next year,
oof, man,
I think he'll be able to finally do that in school. And I don't know. He's very, very skinny, so who knows if he'll really even go into that. But I think if he's the type of kid, though, if he sets his mind to action to do it, he could he could at least be competitive. I wouldn't say that, it's very hard for anybody to make it to the next level or any level beyond that, but he could be competitive. So just because he just has that, you won't knock me down because I'm gonna keep getting up, like, type of attitude.
Yeah.
So whatever. But yeah, man, that was the gist of the weekend for the most part. But also this weekend, speaking of football, it's a good segue. This weekend was the NFL draft, which started on Thursday. It was in Las Vegas. It's so crazy because my wife and I actually went to Las Vegas for like overnight, like I think we talked about last time on our anniversary episode. And they were setting up the draft. They had like an NFL draft, like concert series stage that they set up over the water by the Bellagio. So when you look at Las Vegas, there's always like these big water fountains and stuff like that happen on the Las Vegas Strip. So they were setting up the stage right in front of that. And so we saw it being set up and we realized the draft was there. And yeah, man, so the NFL draft was there. It was pretty cool to see, my teams and your team, get some draft picks. Your Saints, in the first round picked Chris Olave, who was he's a really good wide receiver from Ohio State, even though I hate that team. And I hated him as a player in college just because he was so good. So he'll be a good addition to your team to go along with Michael Thomas, who's already an amazing player. And then let's see, my Houston Texans picked an LSU kid first in the first round. Derek Stingley Jr., who I think is the son of a former NFL player, if I'm correct, but I may be wrong. But yeah, he's from LSU. He's a really good player. He's one of the top 2 cornerbacks. And then my team picked up a kid named Kayvon Thibodeau, which is a defensive end. And it's funny because leading up to the draft, I sort of listened to some some Giants podcasts and stuff like that, and the commentators on the podcast, would always mispronounce this kid's name. They'd be like Thibodeau, and I'm like, that's not how it's pronounced.
He must be from Louisiana because he's the X. Yeah,
X. Well, he's from California.
Oh wow,
but,
interesting.
But I think his family history is Louisiana.
Okay, that's probably what it is.
Yeah, back down the line somewhere. But it's funny, so I kept listening to that, and I always wanted it was always a pre-recorded podcast, so I never realized when they were live until like literally the first day of the draft, or else I'd have called in and been like, it's Thibodeau, But yeah, he was a really good pick, man. He was projected to be number 1 at some point, at several points in his career. He was the number 1 recruit when he went to college a couple years ago. So I'll take that. And then they also picked up a guy named Evan Neal, who was a lineman from Alabama, who our cousin who works for Alabama, definitely had
nice.
Either coming to school or had a hand in his, I guess, development process off the field, when he was there. So that's really cool. A lot of kids picked up. And, this is the thing, though, as a fan of a team, if you've ever paid attention to any of the drafts, the first round is normally the round where you're trying to draft people who you want to be starters, and if not starters today, you want them to grow into that starting role before the end of the season. That's namely like quarterbacks. If you have like a quarterback that, you want somebody to just be able to come in soon, or any other player. Sometimes during those times, and I guess not every fan could be satisfied because it's, the fan has their ideas and the teams have their ideas. And so, when people get drafted, either people are like, yay, we drafted like the best player ever, or they're like, dude, what are we doing? Frustrated. And as a Giants fan, for the majority of the last, 7 years, give or take, our drafts, I've just been shaking my head like, who is that type of guy? You know what I'm trying to say? Saints fans, I think you guys have drafted really well because y'all have done well in the draft. But it's funny because 99% of the people in the world were like, the Giants won that first round. They got like the best two players. They got the guys who, at one point in time should have been like number one and number two, blah, blah, blah. So, but then there's always this one fan that comes in that's just like, this kid only has one move, or, we should have drafted somebody else. And I'm like, dude, trust
There's
the
always
process.
that one.
There's always that one. Why is it? Why is there always that one? I don't know. I don't get it, man.
Yeah. I don't know. I see it a lot on my timeline, as far as like football. I take notice on football how some fans will be like, we should have got this. We should have got this. I'm like, why aren't y'all coaching or something?
I know, right?
Or being some kind of, I don't know. It's like, it seems like some fans think they know better than the administration,
than others. Yeah.
It's like the people that's in the actual organization.
People who decided at some point in time in their life that's what they wanted to do for their life. They went into that career. They do it on an everyday basis. They watch the tape, to actually do that role in life. But you have all these like Twitter and Facebook GMs out here, trying to run things from the sideline. And I think this is the problem. I think especially when you get to maybe like in the draft, at least in the NFL draft, I think the baseball draft, most of the people are unknowns. And then the NBA is, the first round is first 10 picks is like, the guys that everybody's heard of from college or wherever. But in the NFL draft, there's a lot more name recognition just because, football is so prevalent or whatever around the country. So like when you get to something like that and it becomes like a name of somebody that you never really heard of, or like a kid from a small school that you never really like, that you may have seen like one highlight on Sports Center, but like you never really like, you never got a chance to really hear them. You didn't see much on them. You don't see their games every weekend, or they're from like, Bethune-Cookman or something like that. And like most people around the country don't follow them, it's like, why did y'all draft this guy? And, you just got to think about it like this. A, it's not your job to do that. B, they're drafting for either the needs of the team or the best player on the board on their specific board. And then you get to another situation where it's like, you know what? If you like this kid so much, there's a potential that there's, more teams that also like this kid that have this need, so if you don't draft him now, it's likely that they're going to get drafted by somebody else down the line and you won't have access to them. So it's wild, man. At first, like, I don't know, at first I saw some, draft picks down the line. I was like, we could have drafted this other person who's a name that you'd heard of or whatever, the people have more heard of, that started slipping down the board. And then I was like, you know what? It's not my team. I mean, I love them, but they're not paying me, I'm not making a red cent from them. So I might as well just chill and hopefully trust the process, and hopefully they'll be better off. So I don't know. But this year I like their draft, and I like the Saints draft. They had some good players.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I was trying to see if there was a Louisiana Raging Cajun drafted. I don't believe that there may have been. Let me see here. There may have been one drafted. And then let's see here. Raging
Cajun. So funny.
Cajun football. Whoa. That was weird. Let's see if they had anybody in the draft. Yeah. They had somebody drafted by the Washington Commanders. Horrible. The Washington Redskins. So there's a defensive back, Percy Butler, was drafted by them. I guess the Redskins also signed another guy from the Raging Cajuns. Another guy signed with the Packers. Another guy signed with the Seahawks. So they had a couple guys. Either drafted or signed. So that's good. That's good. Oh wait, who is this? Oh, the Jets pick an offensive lineman. So it's all right. They had a handful of guys. That's a good thing. And then I was looking to see if any TCU guys got drafted. we did not really have a great class of kids for the draft class this year. I think we had one offensive lineman that that should have gotten potentially could have gotten drafted. But let's see here. He was signed by the Lions, had a guy signed by the Rams. I think that might be it. Let's see here. I think that's it. Yeah. There you go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that tells you how sad our season was. But hey man, you know what? Good for these kids. Hopefully they get some good mentorship and they save their money enough to where, if it doesn't work out.
Don't squander the money. Do not squander that money.
Yeah. Secure when that term secure the bag means more than just getting the money the first time. That means getting that money. That means making sure it's secure for the future. Obviously you can spend some. Yeah. Obviously you could spend some, but don't waste it all. Don't waste it all. Have you ever seen looked at like any of the people's like clothes that they wear to the NFL draft?
I've seen some, and there was actually a guy on the news, local news here. He actually tailors a lot of the NFL draft, the college kids, like their suits and stuff. Like he makes them. Some of them are wild, man. Not for me, but it's whatever. Young kids, man.
Yeah. So look at this. This is the guy that I was hoping the Giants would have drafted. This dude's name is Sauce Gardner, right?
He's a cornerback from.
Yeah, he was a cornerback from Cincinnati, University of Cincinnati.
Nice.
He never gave up. Yeah, that's dope. He never gave up a touchdown in his college career. Never. That's amazing. That is. I'm pretty sure that's a record. If you match the amount of times, amount of games he played compared to any other kid that's played, that's sort of unheard of.
You got the sauce.
Even in the playoffs, because their team made the playoffs, he was playing against the best wide receiver. They did not make a touchdown against him, and the longest completion he ever gave up, was 13 yards. One first down. Like that's pretty much the longest completion he ever gave up. That's amazing. But his chain, looks like a diamond out Cuban link, with this big, huge sauce, dripped out sauce on it, the word sauce, and then a bottle, which he actually carries hot sauce in.
Nice. Oh, that yes. Actually carries hot sauce in it.
Yes, it actually has hot sauce in it. That's insane, man. That's insane. There you go. There's the whole look. So it's funny though, because he has his light blue.
Not open up. Yeah, I hope it don't open up on his on that crispy white. Yeah, man, that would be pretty bad.
That would be bad. Yeah, he wore blue and white. He should have wore red for being the sauce or whatever. But yeah, man, he wore that. This other guy, this big dude, wore this. I don't know. This reminds me of something from this guy, Jordan Davis. He went to the Eagles, unfortunately. But this outfit reminds me of something that would be worn in Coming to America. I don't know why. That reminds me of that. Let me see if I could slide down. There's another guy.
What is that?
Let me see if we can look at this. Yeah, it looks like a combination of like flowers and Japanese letters. Actually, it's funny. This kid has the same name as one of our cousins, Jermaine Johnson.
Interesting.
That's his kid's name. He played at Florida State. I didn't mean to hit that. So yeah, so that's that kid. Let's see. Oh yeah, this guy, Alabama. Oh, this is loud. Alabama football player, all in red. And there was somebody who had like I don't know, it was like some $1,500, sneakers on. I can't remember who it was. This is the guy, this Thibodeau guy that the Giants drafted. The guy that the Giants drafted. You can't really see his suit up close yet, but lining the lapel or whatever it is are rubies.
Oh, sweet.
Rubies. Lining the lapel. This dude is,
and that would be the only time he's gonna wear that.
Probably so. Look at that. Ruby encrusted. It's sort of crazy, man. Everything classic but the rubies. Like, it's sort of wild. So, yeah, man. I was.
When did the high water suit pants
Pants
come into I don't know, popularity?
back to popularity, man. I don't know.
Oh yeah, because way back in the day, that was the thing, right? In the 60s and stuff, huh?
Yeah,
I can
having some
remember
high
like
water
50s,
pants.
60s. Yeah, them high water tight
Yeah,
pants.
it
But
was.
never
I'm
mind
trying to
that.
think though. I'm trying to think because the style went from like, from like sagging, to more like fitted pants that weren't sagging to those like, skinny jeans, right? And then it
Yeah.
moved from skinny, excuse me, it moved from skinny jeans to like these high water things. And I think, okay, so what are those pants? Is not jams, capris. So when men started wearing capris
Mint
and showing off
capris?
their calves, yeah, men wear capris. Yeah, when men started wearing capris and showing off like the calves and shins and ankles, that was around the same. That was around the same time that it started transition to skinny jeans. And I think the high, the high water pants is a combination of men's wearing capris and skinny jeans because they're still a little like, they're still a little fitted and form fitting, for
Yeah.
most of the leg, but then, they like to show off the ankles. And then also at the same time in basketball, as you may have noticed now in basketball, you used to have huge shorts, big baggy shorts. And
Yeah.
now people want like, bike, those little biker shorts, like showing people thighs.
So they're going full circle, like way back in the Dr. Let's just say the Dr. J day, even before that, long before that, you got them little
When
short,
basketball first came out,
tiny shorts.
yeah,
And
we
then
wear short
we
shorts.
got to, I guess, like that Fab Five era where Michigan was wearing them super baggy shorts. That became super popular. Now we're back to transitioning, going up again.
Yeah. So it'll come back down at some point in time. There'll be a superstar that comes along that wears his shorts big and baggy, and it'll go back to that at some point in time. It'll all come full circle at some point in time. But yeah, man, I think that trend just started. It started popping off when dudes started wearing like capris. Capris became famous.
It's interesting.
Before Fashion Nova.
Wow.
I don't know, man. It's wild.
I'm just old. I'm getting old.
I mean,
Birthday's coming up, and I'm getting older.
Yeah, it sure is coming up. So yeah, man, it's it's just the style. People like the style. So speaking of styles that people like, speaking of things that people do and don't like, there's some people who are short, or considered short, and they are sad or mad or frustrated when people talk smack about them being short. They're sad or mad or frustrated when they try to hit on a girl that's taller or whatever.
Yeah.
And they want to be taller. And this is namely men we're talking about
Mainly
here.
men.
And so you send me a story about this dude who, for lack of a better term, wants a Tall-O-Plasty.
Is that what it's called?
I don't know what it's called, but that's what I made it. Because we remember the South Park episode where they had like a Negroplasty where they wanted to be black, and they had a Dolphinoplasty where they wanted to be a dolphin. That was the best.
Wait, he actually, wow. So the Negroplasty from the South Park episode, he wanted to be, I guess the idea was if you're taller in basketball, you'd be able to play better. So,
yep.
And then it just transitioned into darkening skin, getting taller. Everything had changed on the kid. But yeah, this particular, it just jumped out at me. The guy, this particular person, as you mentioned, as you mentioned earlier, and it's a long story. I'm gonna try and give y'all guys the cliff notes, but apparently this guy had all the same issues that you mentioned earlier. Issues with women not talking to him because he was 5'7", and apparently a lot of women want somebody who's 6 foot and over, or let's just say, something like that. So
here we go. I'm gonna share it. I found it.
This particular guy had a $75,000 procedure where he went from 5'7" to 5'10". 5'7" to 5'10". And wow, and is his life better? I don't know, but
Oh man, new
it's
heights.
new heights is what it's called. You're just 3 inches taller. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know how much more I could talk about it because this article is long as heck,
Yeah,
man.
we're not gonna read the whole article.
It's super
I didn't want
long.
to see. Yeah. So this dude did the doctor put in leg extensions, like
That's what it
fake
seems
limbs
like.
inside his body,
It
or did he
seems
put
like
in
he a femur lengthener.
Okay.
I think that's what it
So
is. They lengthened the femur on him, this particular person.
because I was looking at the images, here we go. This thing right here. Why is it so big?
Yeah. So that's the
Pause.
femur right there.
Yeah.
And inside the femur, there is an adjustable. Well, it's an adjustable tube or rod that it looks like,
Yeah.
and of course,
So
it'll lengthen him.
So did they put this plastic looking femur or whatever inside of his leg, or did they? No, they wouldn't have been able to do that because he probably
Yeah, because
wouldn't
they
be
had
able to
a
walk. So
no,
they
they had
put
to.
this like on the side of his femur.
I don't know if they
Inside
put
his
it on
femur.
the side. They probably put the rod inside, and then
where the marrow goes. Ugh.
yeah, where the marrow goes, which is hey, what I had. So I didn't get a lengthener. So yeah, so they put this. I'm assuming this is just what I'm assuming. I'm no doctor. They put this inside his femur, and they were able to adjust it or space it out, and then I guess fill in the broken part of the femur with some other kind of device. So
wow,
yeah, he grew
that is
3 inches.
Crazy.
Overnight.
That is crazy.
Yeah,
that is crazy.
Yeah, there's even a little thing on here, a little blurb where he says, I often hear people, or I guess the doctor says, I often hear people say, I went on a date and the person said, I really like you, but you're just not tall enough. I'm looking for somebody taller. So, this is what a lot of men have to go through, man. Maybe they're not confident in their height and they want to be taller. I know a lot of guys who are like under 6 feet, probably at maybe the 5, 6, 7 level, probably at this guy's height. But I can't say they've ever had issues with anybody, body image.
Shaming him.
Yeah, body shaming or anything like that. It's wild, man. Everybody has their thing.
I don't. It's hard for me to wrap my head around this. Like, I don't know. I mean, I have family and friends that are, much taller than me, and I have family and friends that are shorter than me. And okay, I'm trying to think. Yes, I have shamed somebody for being short, but it was all in a joke. We're friends, right? We're friends. And like the running joke with him always was short jokes, and then he had other jokes for me too, namely my last name. So it's whatever. But it was always like friendly. You know what I'm trying to say? It was never like with I don't know, like never in a mean way or whatever. But I mean, I think but it's been years and years and years since I've seen him. Just because I moved out of town and it's just different. But but it was the thing, like that person and then other people like that. We're all like in the same type of friend group, so we all sort of did that type of stuff. But we were just it's just like you messing around with your friends talking smack. But who knows? Maybe we were messing with their body image. I don't know. But
yeah,
it just makes it hard because a lot of the people that I know, at least a lot of my friends that I know, on the surface, it seems, at least, they always seem to be extremely confident in who they are. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So for me, looking at something like this, I'm just like, how? I can understand, though. I can understand that people have, body issues. I understand that people everybody's not confident. Personally, though, it's just hard for me to wrap my head around why I would
go to this extreme.
Yeah, yeah. Unless it was required for like as a surgery because of an actual injury, because of
Yeah.
something like that. Why? That's
Yeah.
crazy. It's
It's
crazy.
wild. Yeah. Reading through these
75K.
comments, 75K. Reading through these comments, somebody said if I pay 75K for 3 inches, it won't be for my legs.
I mean it. I
For
mean
real,
it,
right?
dog. That's really
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah. But then there's somebody else that said, thanks to a lovely tumor on my pituitary gland at the base of my brain, my body didn't produce enough growth hormones to make me taller. From the age of 10 until I was 18, my doctor had me on a high HGH injection daily to increase my height. I'm grateful because I would have been four-ish feet, and now I'm 5'7". So this person is 5'7" now.
Oh wow! But
Which is
he
what
had to get HGH.
Yeah, he had to get
That's what he said?
injections because of some issue with his pituitary gland tumor.
Okay. So that's
So
different. Like
yeah,
that is specifically because of like an illness, disease. I'm trying to say an injury. Like that makes sense. This
yeah,
dude's just a full grown man, and he just wanted to be taller.
yeah,
I don't know. This is the thing. Like when it takes you to this level, to having to go to an extreme. This is an excuse me. This is an extreme because it's not it's not a necessary surgery, right?
right.
When it takes you to this level, he must have been getting that constantly since he was a little child.
Yeah,
Between people talking smack about him, family, friends, whatever, relationships, that didn't work out for whatever reason, people that he tried to hit on for whatever reason, co-workers. Like this had to be a scenario where this dude had been hearing this for years and years, and it just grated on him. And that's probably all he thinks about. Like every day, he probably thought about that multiple times a day during the course of his life. And he's like, how can I get taller?
And then he saw that South Park episode and was like, that's it. A Negro.
If I could swim with the dolphins, that's all they want to do, swim with the dolphins.
Yeah. That's true,
want
man.
to play basketball, swim with the dolphins, and get tall women. Like that's it. He's 5'10" though. It's not like, I don't know. I think it said something like, I read in the article that you could grow anywhere between 3 and 5 inches, So maybe he's trying to get to that 6 foot range. Maybe it's going to push him to 6 feet if it extends even more. I don't know.
And who says he's still not growing, man?
Yeah, but my question is this though: does this bone, this femur extender, does it force your femur to get longer, or do they break your femur in half and basically extend it the amount of space you want?
That's what I'm thinking it is, because just looking at the model they have, it looks like they kind of fuse something in between the broken pieces.
This gel stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm assuming. I'm not trying to read that whole article, but
I'm not either.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm assuming, that you'll be able to extend it that way.
Man, all I gotta say is
just
this,
get some Terminator bones or something in you. So
yeah, something like that. All I gotta say is this, people. I really, would implore you to be confident in your own body. And I know it's not easy for everyone. I know everybody has issues, to some degree and whatever. But but you are you. You are who you are. You were made that way for a reason, for a purpose, Don't let anybody tell you, don't let anybody's, jokes about you or whatever, hinder your thoughts and make you feel that you're less of a person, because it's like, is it worth it? Is it really worth it?
Wow.
You're going to find somebody. There's somebody for everybody out there. There is, It may take you longer than others to find them, but you'll find them, They'll like you for who you are.
This guy is not the only one. I'm reading through these comments, and a lot of people are saying, if I had the money, I would do this. It's like somebody says, I'm a 5 foot tall woman. If I ever get rich enough, I'm going to extend my height, because being super short seriously sucks. Yeah. And there's another person that says, as a 5'2" trans guy, I'm genuinely considering this. I already
Mhm.
wear high inserts, but that only helps so much. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of people like this guy here, but they probably
Yeah.
just don't have the money to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of people that actually need some therapy, mental therapy,
Yeah.
to, I guess, be comfortable with themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting, man. There was another comment where it said, where is it? Every time I hear about this procedure, I think of the Grey's Anatomy episode
Yeah.
when the guy got it done in Thailand and his legs were all gross and infected. I mean, I don't know, man. It's wild, man. And a lot of people just saying that this guy needs some type of therapy. Patriarchy is a problem.
Yeah.
Somebody's like, I hate it here. I don't know, man. It's
Sometimes I really do hate it online.
Yeah.
To see some of this stuff. But
It's wild. It's wild. It's wild, man. It's wild. Like I said, I don't understand it because I haven't faced a ton of those type of comments and issues, but I know that it is a thing. So I don't know, man. Just be
wow.
confident in yourself, what you can do, what your abilities are. Be confident in that, and try to find friends and family members that identify with that for you, and don't drag you down to where you can't have to think about that. Okay, so tall people. Wow, tall people.
Tall people.
I don't even.
Sometimes it sucks being tall, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. Well, to talk to some tall people, it's pretty bad. Like it's, sometimes clothes don't fit right. You got to go to special shops. Just imagine our cousins 6'11" and like 6'8" or something like that.
6'7", 6'8", yeah,
6'8".
yeah.
Yeah,
Tall
6'11".
kid,
I'm 6'3", and it's yeah, man. It's sometimes it's tough, man, finding clothes that like actually fit right, especially pants, man.
Yeah.
It's pants. Pants suck.
Is it like the length, right?
The length it's hard to find, unless I just go ahead and just wear the high waters. Like we were talking about, just adapt to the new style.
Get with the style, man.
I guess that's what it is, man. I'll just start rocking high waters with
skinny jeans.
No socks on. High or something like that. Maybe I'll just wear some high socks. And
that's one thing I cannot stand, man. Because like I think about people wearing no socks, and I just think about sweaty, stinky feet. Like I don't know. Maybe I played sports too much.
Yeah, I know.
But that's all I think about, man. That's all I think about, and I'm just like, that is the worst. Like, why would you want your shoes to smell like toe jam always?
Yeah. But then they have those socks. They're not ankle socks. I think they're called heel socks. Heel socks, where they just wrap right underneath the heel.
I've seen them,
you can't see though. You can't really see them. But
yeah,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
They fit like those. They fit like the women try-on socks at the women's store. Have you seen them?
Yeah,
and they just go over like your toes and your heels, right?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
That is it.
I've seen them. I don't know, man. That's stinky, man. It's stinky.
It is very stinky.
Hey, man, it's just something that we should probably tweet about it. Speaking of tweeting, because you tweeted something last week, and you tweeted something last week, and this was about black people playing spades. I remember we had that conversation, to where if you're black, do you know how to play spades or whatever it was? And you asked the question on Twitter, also on Instagram. Did we get any comments back on Twitter?
I don't think so.
You look on Twitter.
Wait. Yeah. Maybe
I'll look on Instagram or vice versa. Which one do you want to do?
I'll try Twitter. I think we got one.
I love to look up the Insta-G. Let's see here. So yeah. Okay. So while you're looking up Twitter, I got the Instagram up. So the conversation started.
No, I didn't. No.
Screw Twitter anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, so conversation started. How many black people on here don't know how to play spades? Don't feel ashamed. It's a safe space. Is it a rite of passage? Should you get your black card revoked if you don't know? And so here we go. So we got some comments. So JLHook_1. What's up, sister? I don't, not well enough to say I could be someone's. Oh, wait, okay, yeah. So I don't, not enough to say I could be someone's partner playing spades. And then this is Black Rain Radio. I know how, but don't play. There you go. Outspoken Diva. I side-eye the people who didn't teach the non-players how to play spades. Their black cards should be in jeopardy. There you go. So whatever, man, pod. Not knowing how to play well is fine, but not knowing how to play at all is pretty bad. So there you go.
Yeah,
it's interesting, man.
Guess it's pretty bad.
It's Black Rain Radio. That's Max More Deep. All right, I guess we changed his name. Sorry about that. Yeah, shout out to y'all and thank y'all very much for your comments. And yeah, man, I don't know, man. I initially, years ago, I would have said, yes, your black card needs to be revoked. But now, having matured more in the world and thinking about people and where they came from and life experiences and stuff like that, either your family didn't really play or you never played at family reunions or you grew up in an area where it wasn't really like a popular game. Because I think in the South, it seems to me in the South, spades is more popular maybe than in other parts of the country. So I won't say you should get your black card revoked. But I don't know. When it comes to just playing card game perspective, I would say, you should at least know the rules.
I don't even know where to start in spades. That's me. I don't know how to play spades one bit. I know what a spade symbol looks like. I know what all the symbols. I just don't know where to start. What even goes into playing spades. I have absolutely no clue.
Spades is one of those games. It's not a game you can play by yourself like solitaire. Just because it won't really make sense to do it by yourself. You could play it with two people because I've done that before when I learned and and whatever and play with other people. You can play with three people, but it's also sort of silly. Normally you play with four people because you have
two
partner,
teams,
right?
Yeah,
two teams. So
can you do more than that? Like, can you do more than two teams? Like maybe 3 teams of 2?
You can. I think the way playing cards are set up. Everything is in every what do you call it? Every number or letter or face card is set up in groups of 4, right? So you could potentially do more. You would just have less chances to win or whatever throughout the game each time if you had more teams. But yeah, if you did more than 2 teams, then it would have to be multiples of a couple of
decks,
teams,
right?
Yeah, maybe double deck it. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so I don't know, man. It's just wild, and yeah, thank y'all for the comments. I don't think you get your black card revoked, but hopefully you learn at some point in time. The thing is, I've never taught my kids how to play spades. I think the only card games that we really got into were with my kids are Battle, and
is that like War?
Yeah, it's War. Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah,
okay.
That's basically the only card game. Other than that, it's Uno. Now, if you're black and you don't know how to play Uno,
it's weird because our black rules are a little bit different than the actual rules.
Oh yeah,
because the way we used to play, and then I went back to reading the actual rules that came with the deck. It's like, wait a minute, that we didn't do that.
That's not even yeah.
So
yeah. And you look at the rules and you're like, that's not even a rule. This is the thing though, like somebody like you who has actually read the rules plays with somebody who's been playing by their own rules, family rules, house rules over the course of time. When it comes to one of those situations where they somebody's made up their house rule and they say, this is the rule, blah, blah, blah. You're like, no, it's not,
Yeah.
And you got to whip out the instructions. You're like, here's the instructions, what I'm trying to say. And then those people won't accept the instructions as the gospel. Like these are the people who made the game. This is what it says. Now, I've been doing that all my life. Well, you've been wrong.
You've been wrong. Yeah, and that's how I was because
Yeah,
I was wrong.
yeah.
But I still don't even use those rules, even when we do play. So
We all been there, man. We have all been there. We've all been those people. But yeah, speaking of Twitter, from earlier,
and
I
super
guess,
villains from earlier coming
yeah,
full circle.
super villains coming full circle. So, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, he bought Twitter.
He did.
He bought Twitter, and the world is the world a better place because of this? I'm not sure.
Not really.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
He could have used that 44 billion to do other things.
Yeah.
To make the world a better place.
Yeah. Yeah. He really could have.
Yeah.
44 billion with a B. $1 billion. That's it though. Is that it, or is that like
9 zeros following that 44?
Think about this though. That's a lot. Like I already knew that he was. Is he considered the richest man in the world, or is he like one of the?
He's one of the
5 or something.
One of them. Yes.
Yeah, because there's like people who are like kings and all this stuff that or queens, whatever that are rich. But just imagine like 44 billion. Like okay, the only way I'm trying to find a way to equate this for us as people who are not billionaires.
Or close.
Would this be like us purchasing a car? Because as soon as you buy it, the value of it can sort of fluctuate, probably go down a little bit, but can sort of fluctuate depending on the time and the model.
I wouldn't even say it's like a car because
like
we pay car notes.
Yeah, but I'm saying like if you bought it outright, right?
If you bought it outright, yeah, maybe, yeah.
Maybe a house. If you bought a house outright, right? No, this is. I'm trying to find a way to equate this for us. Maybe it's like buying an Xbox, right?
Maybe an Xbox, yeah.
Because that's a big purchase.
It's a big
purchase, but you still normally have some money in your bank account afterward, right?
You don't feel bad. You don't feel totally drained after making that purchase.
Like even an Xbox game, if you bought one, like they're $60.
Oh man, speaking of Xbox, and this is totally off the subject.
We can get off the subject. That's fine. I'm just
I went to Walmart this morning and I was amazed because there's a clearance on on a lot of Xbox One games, like $5, $7, $10. So you need to go there, check out some stuff because I was about to make a mass purchase, but of course, Black Walmart never has anybody working in that section and everything is locked up.
Yeah, so you got to walk for 20 minutes to find somebody, huh?
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway. Wow. Back to Elon, $44 billion in purchasing Twitter.
Yeah, man. It's I don't know, man. It's shocking that he did that. I think the problem that it seems that everybody's having with this is, he has very different views than Twitter has had over the course of these last several years about free speech, right? Because Twitter banned Donald Trump, it banned a bunch of these QAnon people, all this stuff. But he has other views about it where it would seem that he's going to bring those people back or allow them to have their platform again. There was a guy apparently who tried to set up a GoFundMe to kill like a BLM, founder or something like that who was banned off of Twitter. Yeah. And I saw a report where it said that he's going to Musk or whatever, Twitter's going to allow that person to come back on it and have an account again. So, it's just going to make life worse, Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm not saying everybody's right, but it's just weird. So
I found this little article that Black Girl Nerds put up. They have it on their site if you go to blackgirlnerds.com. This is by Christine Bamine. Hopefully I said your name right, but she did this article about everything that Elon Musk has did with this purchase of Twitter. And
Mhm.
I guess go along with the free speech that he was talking about, he put up a tweet. Elon Musk did, says free speech is the bedrock of a functioning democracy, and Twitter is just the digital town hall or town square where matters
Mhm.
vital to the future of humanity are debated. Also want to make Twitter better than ever by enhancing the product with new features, making the algorithms open source to increase trust, defeating the
Mhm.
spam bots, that's good, and
Mhm.
authenticating all humans. Twitter has tremendous potential. I look forward to working with the company and the community of users to unlock it. Musk has also expressed interest in the following: allowing tweets to be long form, more than 280 characters,
That's good.
adding an edit button to
I
tweets
think
because
that would be
some
good too.
people kind of keep going off and they don't edit themselves, making DMs end to end encrypted so that it can't be hacked or surveilled. I think that's right,
Mhm.
not surveillance.
Okay.
Uh, and lastly, buying Coca-Cola to put cocaine back in it. That's what he says. That's what
What was the last one?
buying cocaine to put buying Coca-Cola to put cocaine back in.
That's what he wants to do too.
That's what he says he wants to do.
He's just
I
being
don't.
silly with that.
He's
Okay.
just being silly. But they also in this article, she broke down a bunch of things that Elon Musk could have did with that 44 billion
Mhm.
to, like you said earlier, help the world, enhance the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like number one, a country. He could have bought a country.
Could
She
have.
pointed out that Sri Lanka has a debt amounting to $35 billion, and this country has been seeking support due to a struggling economy and has begun to arise throughout the debt crisis. Food shortages, power cuts, and street protests. So $44
Mhm.
billion dollars could have saved the nation.
Could have
Two,
less than 44
yeah,
billion.
less than that.
Wow.
So number two, a laptop for every college student on earth. That would be a great thing. Every
Wow.
college student on earth. 250 million college students studying around the world. $44 billion could have got them a Chromebook. You know, pretty cheap
Mhm.
Chromebook. Still, it
Yep.
works. It
Yep.
works.
It works for what
You
it's
know,
supposed to be.
and right now in America, the reported American student loan debt is at 45.3 billion, which
Wow. He could
he
he could
could
have
have had
basically
a
almost
big,
cleared it out.
yeah, almost cleared it out. But what do? We're gonna buy Twitter and you know, just have
I
some
mean, what's
fun with
another
that.
1.3 billion to him though? If he gonna
Yeah,
spend
nothing.
44 bills on that,
I
that's
think
nothing,
he's
man. Hold on.
yeah, he's
Hold on.
worth
Hold on a second.
253 something billion.
Hold on a
So
second. Let me check. Let me check this couch cushion. Yeah, there you go.
yeah,
1.3
exactly.
bills.
He got that.
Wow. That's insane, man. It's just
He's
crazy.
he's wild,
It's
man.
it's wild. I I don't know, man. It's wild. I don't know. When I look at situations like this, I'm just like, why do you just have that much money? You know, why? Why? I mean, oh no. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's not right. I was trying to say why, like these people said, why are you using that much money in this way, and maybe not to affect change, a positive change somewhere in the world. The thing about it is, though, this is what makes it so hard to not like Elon Musk, because he does do charitable give back. You know what I'm trying to say? He
Hmm.
does help out a lot of community. He does help out communities in tech. You just don't hear about it. You just hear about, the Tesla. You hear about the super truck. You hear about, this Twitter thing.
SpaceX. Yep.
You hear about SpaceX and Starlink and all this other stuff. He basically allowed the Ukrainian army and the whole country of Ukraine to log into Starlink so they can keep their communications up
Hmm.
during this
Yep.
Russian conflict.
Yep.
I mean, that's a good thing because he's helping
That's a
a whole
great thing.
country
Yeah.
stay afloat on the net when all Russia has to do normally is just bomb the towers or whatever that they have for oh my gosh, that didn't sound good, but bomb the cell phone towers or internet communication towers and satellite,
Hmm.
like, or not satellites but dishes or whatever. So he does stuff like that. but then he does stuff like this, you know, and he says stuff like that. Now, I think I totally get it now, where he's saying that Twitter is just sort of like a town square, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you think about it back in the way back in the day when you know, people used to wear knickers. You know what I'm trying to say? You know, you would go to the town square, and that's where all the news would happen. You know, the town crier would show up, and like be talking about stuff that happened in the news, happened in society, or like, you know, the redcoats are coming or whatever the heck is happening.
Yep.
And that was the way it happened. So I can get it. I do think that there needs to be some type of policing on people who go to extremes, especially like the one we were talking about earlier with the guy who's trying to raise money to kill somebody. But, you know, there's certain things that, definitely needs to be policed, right? Yeah. But moderated or whatever. But there's also some things where it's like, all right, you know, and everybody obviously can form their own opinion about whatever they hear or see somebody say. So.
You're right.
It's wild, man.
All right. What would you do with $44 billion if you just had it, just chilling around? Like I say, he's worth like $250 billion.
So if I had, the crazy thing is, that's like, you know, 1/5. If that's how much he's worth, that's 1/5 of his worth. But just imagine how much money he's making every single day. Mm-hmm. Like how much money he's making every second. I know that there's a stat out there somewhere that tells you how much money he makes every second. And I know you'll probably find it before I even finish my thought. But he spent that much knowing good and well that he's going to make all that money back probably within a couple of months or something like that. You know, that's wild. If what is it?
Jesus.
The look on your face.
So according to this,
like a meal.
Not a second. Not a second. According to this, hold on, let me find it. But according to this article, he makes roughly $375 per second, which is roughly 22,500 per minute. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
And people complain about athletes
making
too much money.
Shut up and play.
Talk about the real problem, bruh. How is Elon Musk making $22,000 a minute? A minute. He makes enough money to buy a whole car in a minute. Just think about that.
There's people who struggle to make $375 2 weeks in a 2-week check.
In 20 minutes, in 20 minutes, 30 minutes, he could buy a mansion. You know what most people consider a mansion.
Yeah.
You know, in 10 minutes, he could buy a really good, you know, middle class home. 10 minutes.
See, I'm not well versed in the story of Elon Musk. Where I know he had Reddit or created Reddit. Is that right? Or is it some other platform? I can't. Oh, PayPal.
Oh yeah, PayPal.
Yeah, he created.
I think, he was. Yeah. I think that was his first. The company he helped co-found. Let's see here. I'm looking it up right now. Canadian mother and a white South African father in Africa. Let's see here. What is it? Education, business, career. In 1995, Musk, his brother Kimball, and Greg Curry founded a software company, Zip2, with funds from angel investors. It was a company that provided and licensed online city guide software to newspapers. Mm-hmm. That is so random. The company was founded in Palo Alto, of course, like during the, you know, Silicon Valley. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. So he did that. Then let's see here. Musk attempted to become CEO a position held by its chairman, Richard Sorkin, which we've heard of somewhere, were thwarted by the board. Compaq acquired the company for $307 million in cash in February 1999. So Compaq Computers. And Musk received $22 million for his 7% share. So that's sort of where his
crazy
money sort of really started back then. And then he started XCOM. Let's see, in 1999, online bank co-founded by Elon Musk, Harris Fricker, Christopher Payne, and Ed Ho. Wow. In March 99, XCOM merged with the competitor Confinity, a software company based in Silicon Valley. Let's see here. And so basically it was an online financial services and email payment company, right?
Okay.
And so on top of that, Confinity had its own money transfer service called PayPal.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't create PayPal. This was a part of a company that they merged with, right? So XCOM merged with Confinity, which had PayPal, which was more popular than XCOM's service.
Uh-huh.
And when they merged the company, Musk was a CEO. He preferred Microsoft software. Let's see here.
And then eBay bought him from 2002.
PayPal was acquired by eBay. Yeah, so eBay bought him for 1.5 bills. And then Musk had 11.72% of the shares. So he received 175.8 mil. And that was in 2002. And then, Musk bought the domain name x.com from PayPal for an undisclosed amount, but I'm sure he probably sold that for a good amount of money. So basically, that's sort of how his money started, if you will, in the tech scene. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
At age 10, okay, check this out. He was a smart kid from the start. So at age 10, he developed an interest in computing and video games and acquired a Commodore VIC-20.
Okay, I remember those.
He learned computer programming using a manual, and at age 10, he sold the code of a BASIC-based video game he created called Blaster to PC and Office Technology magazine for $500. So that's when he started. Like, that's basically when he started, like, getting into the tech. He learned code from a manual, just like everybody did way back in the day. But obviously, he was much smarter than most. He was introverted and awkward. He was bullied throughout his childhood and was once hospitalized after he got thrown down a flight of stairs. That's wild, man. This is the thing, man. This is like the story of somebody, who
supervillain.
Yeah, it was a supervillain, like straight up, dude. Like, he's bullied, he was smart, he was introverted. People, he didn't really have many friends. But he found ways to find successes here and there. Yeah, that's wild, man. That is wild.
Well,
still a villain, though. Still a villain. Yeah. I'm trying to think.
Wow. Freaking Elon Musk.
Yeah. He in 95, he was accepted to a Doctor of Philosophy program at Stanford. He attempted to get a job at Netscape, remember that, but never received a response from his inquiries. He dropped out of Stanford after 2 days, decided instead to join the internet boom and launch an internet startup. Wow. Imagine if he had just gone to work for Netscape. We probably would have never heard of him. Or maybe he would have bought Netscape at some point and made it better. Who knows? That is wild, man. So that's his origin story.
That is his origin story. Wow. I'm sure it's going to be turned into a movie sometime down the line.
It definitely will be.
What is his other thing that he's working on? Neuralink? The little, what is it called? Yeah, it's called Neuralink. I guess it's some kind of transmitter or something they put into your brain where I don't want to misquote this stuff, but yeah.
Integrate the human brain with artificial intelligence
There
by
you go.
creating devices that are embedded in the human brain to facilitate its merging with machines.
That thing.
Such improvements could enhance memory or allow devices to communicate with software more effectively. Wow.
Yep.
It's a Fitbit for your skull.
Okay.
It's crazy though, because it does say, you know, this is something that could soon cure paralysis, deafness, blindness, and other disabilities. Many neuroscientists and publications criticize these claims, described it as highly speculative and neuroscience theater instead of mystery science theater. That's funny. On the other hand, a biomedical engineer defended Musk sci-fi inspired rhetorical overreach as inspirational for aspiring engineers and scientists. So that's interesting.
It's very interesting. That stuff, the SpaceX stuff, I am like so interested in that type of thing. But you know, some of the other things just give me like we said earlier, some supervillain vibes. So
yeah. He did. He was a part of. He provided financial capital for this company called Solar City, who is a solar, panel and stuff installation company, which I've actually had to work with Solar City or against Solar City or whatever back in the day where I worked. So, yeah, man. I mean, this is the thing, man. This is what makes it so hard. He is like, what do they call him? Like the anti-villain. So there's like the anti-hero and the anti-villain, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the anti-hero is somebody that, he's a superhero, but you sort of don't like him because he's like sort of rough, really rough around the edges. Maybe like the Punisher, right? He has a good story. He does things like some things for the right reasons, but he also has like a little bit of a mean streak, and he gets, he does some stuff that you probably don't want him to do, or like Elon Musk may be like the anti-villain. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Maybe an anti-hero. I don't know.
Yeah. And let's not forget about the Boring Company.
Yeah.
He has the Boring Company, which has everything from not the Hyperloop, whatever this loop is that he's trying to build.
Isn't that what it's called?
Is it called a Hyperloop?
I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
Okay, a Hyperloop. Yeah, it has like underground public transportation for like all the like electric vehicles and things like that. I think him and Jay Leno went on a trip through one while they were still under construction for it. Yeah, and it's wild, man. It is wild that he has it. So
the document scope the technology. Yeah, so he's trying to make it set up between Los Angeles and San Francisco right now. I think they're still
flamethrowers. Let's not forget flamethrowers.
That's what we need to see, these flamethrowers.
Let me see if he has a jobs. Let's look at the careers. I want to see some open positions. Anything we qualified for?
Bruh. I mean, I could work in advertising and marketing. I could work for the solar company.
As the part-time loop driver, a buyer, nothing. I am
Tesla, maybe.
Oh, can I go work for Tesla?
Yeah, that's his company.
I'm trying to see what's at the Boring Company right now.
But Tesla.
Let's see what's at Tesla.
Tesla's had a lot of. Several lawsuits
in Texas now.
Oh yeah, Tesla's in Texas, yeah, man. Tesla's had several lawsuits by people of color, namely Black people.
Yeah, gotten, I heard that.
Discrimination. So maybe that's not the best option. It's a toxic environment. It's a toxic environment.
So they are in Austin, Austin, Texas.
ATX.
Yeah. Yeah.
ATX. Wow, man, that's wild. I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. What do we think? I mean, hey, you know what, Elon? Just do stuff for the right reasons. He just seems like the most notable richest man in the world. Like If you think about it like that, like you hear about his name all the time, obviously, hear about Bill Gates, but then everybody else you don't really hear about that much. Warren Buffett, you hear about them. So I don't know. Do it for the right reason. That's all I gotta say. So
Are we close to a black billionaire? Who's our closest? Oprah.
we do have black billionaires, don't we?
We do.
It's not
that like notable.
Let me see here. Isn't Tiger Woo?
Tiger who?
Tiger Woo?
No, I don't think so.
Let's see here. But then again, he is also multicultural. So maybe that does not count if you're thinking full-bred black billionaire. Black Panther?
These are the list of black men and women who landed on the billionaires list. So we have, Kanye West. Kanye West is there-ish. As far as network, Aliko Dangote, world's richest black man, worth $14 billion, African billionaire. Mike Edinunga, another 7.3 billion. He's investments in telecoms industry. Abdul Samad, please excuse my reading. Rabiu. He's worth 6.9 billion. Robert F. Smith, okay, I know him. Worth 6.7. David Stewart, worth 5.8. His work in the programming industry, computer programming industry. Patrice Motsepe, South Africa's richest man, 3.3 billion. Oprah, yeah, I said Oprah, 2.6. Kanye West with 2 billion. Rihanna, Rihanna did make that list. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So Riri's on that list. Michael Jordan is on that list. Jay-Z, Tyler Perry is at 1 bill. Okay. So we there. We just, I guess maybe we don't hear about them like these super billionaires. Like Jeff Bezos.
We don't hear about it in the same framework. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, which was the guy? What was the guy? The first guy? What was the most he had?
14 billion. 14 billion.
Yeah, there's only 15. There's 2,755 billionaires in the world as of February, and only 15 of them are black. But and I guess this is the thing, man. Would you consider the Africans black? Because they don't call themselves black, do they?
No, they
don't call themselves African American. Yeah, they call themselves African.
They're just Africans.
So yeah, so maybe if we go back to like Black Americans, right? Maybe there's like
Black America,
6 or 7 of them. But for some reason, I guess I thought Tiger Woods was one. But if you're calling it black, then you would not. I don't know. You would call him mixed. I don't know. I don't know what he puts on his. He'd still be. He'd be considered black.
Yeah, the police stop you. Black male.
He black. Yeah, he black.
Mixed.
Yeah, that's cool, man. But it just seems like there's several of these people who we just read off of this list. Obviously, there's a ton of them you never heard of, right? Unless you run in those circles. Some of them you do hear of. I mean, the only ones that you probably hear of, like talking about their billions, is Oprah, Kanye. The rest of them, they don't really talk about their billions. I remember seeing a story about Rihanna, but she's not putting out music, talking about billions. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. So. Yeah. Jay-Z, Rare, I think his last album, 444, he talked more about investing in things he, should have did.
Yeah.
But I don't think he outright says, "Hey, I got $1 billion."
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's crazy. But hey, it's wild, man. It's wild. So yeah, do the right thing with your money. I guess that's all I could think of. I don't know. We all trying to get there. So let's try.
We're trying to get there. But then if I think about this stuff all the time. It was probably leading a little bit too long. But if I worked hard and I was able to attain multi-millions, possibly billions by the time I'm like 60 years old, could I really enjoy it? I mean, my kids will enjoy it. My grandkids will enjoy it for a certain extent. Enjoy, meaning they'll be comfortable. But 20-year-old Jay with $1 billion, I'd be terrible. I think that would probably be gone within a year or two because I would not be smart at all.
Yeah, a young me, no, wouldn't work out. Me at this age range, it'd probably be okay.
This age range, yes. This age range,
yeah,
yes.
I'd probably be all right. I still buy stuff. What do you call it? I still buy stuff.
You'd have
a warehouse
full of barbecue grills.
Oh man! Oh, I would get all of them. I would buy every one I see,
every single
that
one
I really like. I'd be like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna buy that. Hey, let's go ahead and get that.
And
but I would also
on it.
Oh yeah, well it just depends on what you're in the mood with. Because right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 officially. Right, I threw away one because it was rusted out, sadly, and it was not worth keeping. But I have 4, but it just depends on the mood that I'm in and what I'm cooking specifically. So yeah, I probably wouldn't cook on them all, but I would definitely.
Okay.
I'm the type of person where if I buy some random crap, I will use it. I may not use it every day, but I will use it.
So do billionaires cook for themselves, or do they have chefs?
Probably not. Oprah definitely has a chef. I'm pretty sure Kanye has a chef. Like you think about a lot of these people, they most likely have a chef. It's funny because my wife was watching this newest episode of the Kardashian thing that's on, and that came on, and they were sitting down and eating, like having a dinner with each other, and then also they were doing like a thing with, like, I guess one of their companies with a lot of people from their companies, their employees, but it was like at their house, and it was like all this like vegetables and meat, and like there was like the perfect portions of everything. And my wife was like, man, we could always eat so healthy if we just had a chef. And at first I thought that was a shot at me because I'm the one who cooks the food for the family.
That's messed
up. But then I realized what she was talking about. Yeah, it was. I was like, are you kidding me? But then I realized what she was talking about. I was like, yeah, you're probably right.
That's pretty messed up, man.
They definitely have
probably eat pretty bad. You probably eat pretty good if we had a chef. It's like, what you trying to say?
Yeah, you're right. You're right, man. You're right. Wow, that went on very long, but you know what? It was a fun conversation.
It was good talks.
Yeah,
good talks.
Do the right thing for your money. So, speaking of talking, why don't you tell the people where they can leave voicemail? We got one voicemail, and then we're gonna crack up out of here.
All right, people. 3853-BLAKPC or 3853-2572. Give us a little ring-a-ling. Let us know about what you think about them billionaires, what you do with a billy, and all that good stuff, and superheroes, supervillains. Who's the villain? Who's the real hero? Yeah. All that shenanigans and thingy things. All right.
And if I had the billions like that, 44 bills, I would definitely buy all the barbecue grills. I would also buy a bunch of land and have a farm with like animals on it, cows, pigs, all this stuff, chickens. So we could live off of that farm and we wouldn't have to worry about the grocery store. So it would be a big old farm. I know how to do that. So
I would go back and revamp my hometown. Yeah. I would go buy pretty much the whole downtown area.
Oh, that would be nice.
Reinvest in that and bring some opportunities, some creative outlets to these young people who are shooting and killing each other on a daily basis. So yes.
Yeah, you think about something like that. As long as you have something that will get people off the freeway to come to your town, that you have to have people that get off. You have to have people that get off the freeway. Give them a good reason. Like if you were able to put a Buc-ee's in Opelousas, Louisiana,
everybody would be stopping
on both sides of the freeway. That'd be an instant, boost in income for the city.
True, that's true.
And then
very true.
And then surround the Buc-ee's with like, I hate to say it, but surrounded with like a Walmart or a Target, like a Super Walmart, Super Target, something like that, where people want to go and also buy other stuff.
It's funny. Last time we do have a Super Walmart right off the highway, and of course, last time we were there, guess who wants to start shooting up in the parking lot? Us, not us as in me, but Us as in my people. So
people, man, we just need to keep nice things. You know, you can have nice things, but you got to keep the nice things. So, but if you can't have them, then that's why you can't have them. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and.
Oh my God, y'all! I figured it out. I'm having a oh my God moment, y'all. So I was driving to work. Wait a minute, that's me. Hey y'all, this is Mr. Diva. But I had a oh my God moment. Okay, so I was thinking about Will Smith again, you know. And I was like, you know, Chris Rock and Jacob did it. They must have had a sexual one-time relationship. And Chris Rock was feeling some kind of way because Jada didn't want to do it with him no more. And the reason I say this is because they worked on Madagascar together, remember? And I think they hooked up. And so they can't tell Will. And so Chris is a little upset. Yeah, Chris is a little upset. And upset. And that's why he said what he said. Okay? Yep, that's it. You know, like in high school, you like somebody and they ain't like you, or so you check them all the time. It's like, oh, it's a girl. But deep down inside, you know you like her, but she won't give you no attention. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm telling y'all. Oh, my God. That's it. That's it.
She just cracked.
I figured it out. Okay, then. Well, I'm headed to Dallas, Texas Thursday, so I'm resting up at home and stuff because I'm going to be on my motorcycle. And I will talk to you guys later. And happy 10 years again. This is great.
10 years.
10 years.
Okay.
6 years.
Is it 10 years?
Yeah, it could be.
How many is that? I got to check again. I'm not sure. I got too much stuff going on right now. Cool child. We'll talk about my neighbors later and how I had to go over there with that. But I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.
All right. Thank you very much, Kayla, Memphis Diva, 99. Sounds like she cracked the code to the Will Smith and Chris Rock and Jada Pinkett apparent love triangle.
Yes. The zebra and the hippo.
Wow.
Ain't
That's
that
crazy. I mean, that's a good
theory.
That's a good theory, you know. I mean, Chris Rock is the villain in this situation, you know, trying to, or Jada's always the villain. I think she's always the villain.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Chris is the villain. I can't remember. Either way, I mean, there's a possibility, you know, that there's always people who fall in love on set. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like Tom Holland and Zendaya. You know, hopefully they stay together, but a lot of times down the line, it doesn't really work out.
Nope.
And that's why your directors and producers tell you, don't hook up when you're in a movie with somebody else, especially if you're playing the love interest for them. Don't, you know.
That's true.
There's method acting, right? There's method acting where, you know, you have to do certain things to make it more real. And that's what like Jared Leto does. He does a lot of weird stuff, you know, to make it more method. But sometimes you just like dig deep and just be a regular actor and do it fake. But, you know, sometimes people, they take that method acting, you know, they're like, hey, let's go practice this scene. And, you know, that turns into a little hanky-panky. And the next thing you know, they're married. And next thing you know, you have Johnny Depp and Amber Heard in Trolley.
That's true. That is true. You know? Very true.
So
on point.
Yes, indeed. Well, Kayla, thank you so much for the voicemail. We will let people continue to speculate about the reason for the slap. And on that note, that's pretty much all I got. What about you?
That's all I got too, man. All I got too.
Well,
all right, people. Twitter, Instagram, #BlackoutPod. Check us out on your favorite streaming platform. We are probably there talking our stuff. Check us out here every Sunday morning. YouTube. hashtag Blackout Podcast. Email us anything you want to email us. Hashtag blackoutpod@gmail.com. Or give us a little call, 3853-BLAKPC, 385-325-2572, and let us know what you do with those billies and all that other good stuff. Hooksrub.com. Get yourself some hooks and some hooks merch, some hooks swag to go with your grilling season this spring into the summer season. Don't forget, July 4th is coming up right around the corner, man. Better get you some hooks rub so you could be the life of the neighborhood when everybody comes over to your house and tries to gobble up all of your food.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cinco de Mayo's coming up, so you got to have some
That
flavor
too.
for that 5th of May party, even though you'll probably get it after the 5th of May because this is going to come out probably after the 5th of May, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And also Jay's birthday's coming up too. So you want to celebrate that at your house in honor of Jay for his birthday.
Yeah. Just send me a pic and say, wish you were here. This hook for you. This bite's for you. So
this bites for you.
This bud's for you.
I like that. I like that slogan. This bites for you.
But there you go.
With the this buds for you voice. So I like it.
Yep,
cool.
Yep, cool.
All right, people.
And on that note, we blacking out.
Blacking out. Peace.
Deuces. I always say deuces. Why I say deuces?
You need to go poop.